Hello everyone, welcome to Belux Backcourt. I'm Belux, and I'm here watching the 2013 NBA Draft Live. And throughout the draft, I'm just going to be talking about picks. When teams come up, I'll be talking about certain new hires by coaches, trade rumors, and in general just give you my analysis. It's something I do every year when I'm watching the draft. I just see a pick happen, I hear all the transactions that are going on, and I just start thinking of, ooh, this player's going here, which means this one's going to happen here. He's going to start playing this position, and I just start spewing all different kinds of ideas. So now it's time to put them on video. So right now the draft just started, and the Cavs are on the clock. Also, if you want to follow me live tonight, this video's not live, in case you want us to go back and see any of my things, this is my Twitter, Belux Backcourt, as well as my Facebook, Belux Backcourt. Throughout the night, I'll be also, if you see my phone, I'll probably be posting tweets, and maybe also check in ESPN.com to see what's going on. Right now, we're just waiting for the Cavs playing their pick. A lot of talk it's going to be Nerlens Noel. I like him, he's a good player, but I think he's undersized to play center in the NBA. In terms of what their roster needs, I said the Cavs need a good three. I mean, you got Kyrie, who's an amazing point guard. Got Dion Waiters, who was a little down on last year, but I think he's become a very good scorer, and I think he could do well in the league. They're waiting on to get Varejao back from injury. He's a good starting center. I don't think he's a great player. I think he's a good hustle player, and that's why he's been so productive in his career. They also have Tristan Thompson, who was developed very well. I thought he was kind of weird when he went so high in his draft. When he went so high along with Kyrie Irving in a top 4 pick. But I think he's become a good player. He's very athletic. I see him a lot similar to Tyrese Thomas down in Charlotte. So in order to complete their starting lineup, they would need a small forward and possibly get Nerlens Noel, get a center, be a little more athletic. Yeah, so once this pick comes in, this will really get going. Right now, I think it's a little boring. I'm saying that too about last year's draft. Last year's draft was pretty boring. As all you guys know, I'm really into player movement, and that's one of my favorite things about draft time is all the trades. When you have these big blockbuster trades with players going here, player there, and you end up with these picks. It's kind of like the understory. So honestly, for me, that's what my favorite part of the draft is. In the drafts themselves, it's all the additional movement that happens along with it. Last year was pretty slow. I think there was maybe only 2 trades that involved probably big name players or somewhat big name players, without just being a trade pick for pick. I see if the Cavs pick is in. Ooh. Cavs select Anthony Bennett, number 1 overall. They're showing Nerlens Noel, a little disappointment on his face. Interesting. Now the big question is, did Cavaliers draft this for themselves, or are they planning on trading him? That is interesting. Okay, the Bennett. It is interesting if they keep him. He's more of I see him more as a power forward. They could try to play him at the small, if they do indeed keep him. He's more of an inside scorer. I mean, his size, 6'8", 240. That's Elton Brand size. Showing some videos of him right now. Yeah, I just put him at a power forward right now. Good low post skills. I think the biggest plus side for Bennett is that he's a scorer. That he's a good offensive scorer. And at a time right now where there are very few really skilled power forwards in the league right now. I mean, you look at who are the best power forwards, a lot of them are getting older. Dirk Nowitzki, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, they're all aging. And now you look at the new wave, and really, in terms of power forward, there's probably only 3 elite in that elite level. You got Kevin Love, Blake Griffin, and LaMarcus Aldridge. But it is interesting if this is the Cavs that keep this pick or if they're going to trade it. As if they is going to keep him, it might be interesting to see how they utilize him with Tristan Thompson. So 2 guys play the same position. Might mean one of them's going. That is interesting. So now we got Orlando with pick number 2. Coming off season after trading Dwight Howard. And that trade just was very weird. If you think about that trade, they traded away Dwight Howard, and the really only big piece they got back was Aaron Aflalo. And you're asking Aaron Aflalo to do a lot, going from a role player in Denver, whose main priority was being basically a defensive stopper, and who could hit the occasional 3 shot. But to go to Orlando, where he's act to be more of a leader and more of the go-to scorer, he doesn't really fit into that role. So that was a big letdown, which is the reason why players like Nikola Vucevic stepped up. He was a great rebounder, and he got more into the scoring because they needed someone with post presence. And Turkoglu was hurt for a while. That didn't help. Being a good facilitator to a big man, something like that. So it'll be interesting to see what Orlando does with the number 2 pick. Okay, Orlando gets Victor Oladipo. And how they keep showing Nerlens Noel, who is hyped up to be the number 1 pick, and now has gone past 1 and 2. Now this is a similar situation to getting Aaron Fall, only now they're getting a guy who's more polished offensively. He's a good defender, so if they were to do a trade, as in the ones rumored, between Clippers and Orlando to send Aaron Aflalo over to the Clippers in return for Eric Bledsoe and Caron Butler, it'd be a good guy to just pop in and replace him with the 2. Yep. Decent sized 2 guard, 6'4". For today's NBA, it's considered a little undersized. Talk about him being a defender. Yeah, he's got good vertical. Yeah, so by drafting him, Orlando puts him in a good position to make Aaron Aflalo more expendable. If they can trade him for a guy like Eric Bledsoe, get a more established point guard, well, in comparison to Jameer Nelson. Yeah, he's a good scorer, and I guess that's what Orlando needs right now. If you look at their team last year, they didn't have any scoring. They had relying on Jameer Nelson's jump shot, Aaron Aflalo to get more involved offensively, and mostly went on to Nikola Vucevic. And I know a lot of people are after Oladipo, so he goes to Orlando. So now we have the Wizards on the clock. Let's see. I mean, they got John Wall built around. He had a great season last year, really bouncing back and showing why he was a former number 1 overall pick. They've got a lot of versatility right now. They've got both Nene and Okafor. Easily can make one of them expendable to open up some more room, but right now they got both those down low. You have Trevor Ariza, a veteran defender, and they got Bradley Beal last year. Give them that, so they have a solid backcourt going through. At this point, hard to say what they want. They could take a chance getting Noel. Maybe looking to trade either Okafor or Nene. If they can try to get rid of Nene's contract, that'd be good. Okafor would just be to get back some more skill. Seeing on Twitter now that the Wizards are going to select Otto Porter. Yeah, and it is Otto Porter. Of Georgetown. And that's small forward. A good completes their trio there of John Wall at the point, Bradley Beal at the 2, and now they get Otto Porter at the 3. Be interesting to see if they're going to have him start or keep Riza starting, or possibly look to trade Riza and fill out the roster. It's a good fit, especially if they choose to keep both Okafor and Nene. Good rebounder, that's something good that Washington needs. He's got to become a consistent three-point shooter, or at least standstill shooter. Because with John Wall dominating the ball, he's gonna get a lot of John Wall's gonna do a lot of drives and kicks. Looks a little slow. Kind of in that Rudy Gay body. He's got good instincts on defense. And if he can prove to be a good defensive player, then he will replace Trevor Ariza with the same thing as Oladipo in Orlando with Aaron Flalo. If they can both do, because right now those two guys, Aaron Flalo and Trevor Ariza, are both defensive guys. So if they can get these young rookies to provide a little more offense, then they can get those minutes that way. He just, every time I'm watching highlights of him right now, he just looks slow. He looks in control, which is good, but he just seems slow. But that is a good pick for Washington. So they got a good point guard, they got a good 2 guard, and now they got a good 3. Now we have Charlotte, number 4. For Charlotte to get back into, they need number picks 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cause they just need a lot of help. Because Charlotte just needs a lot. They drafted Kilgilchrist last year, and he's a good guy, but he's a guy that needs to be a glue guy in an already established team. He can't be asked to be the leader and he can be a leader, but he can't be like the go-to scorer and just a high-octane guy. He's a glue guy. He's in the vein cut of Andre Iguodala. Right now, but he needs a better supporting cast around him. And Charlotte, I mean, they got Kemba Walker, who I was really big on coming out when he came out of college. I predicted he was going to be the Rookie of the Year. A little wrong about that. But I think Kemba Walker, he's getting to them. He's just a small, quick guard. Got killers on the wings. Charlotte, they could get Nerlens Noel. Just have a young running gun team. If you play him at the center, that's what you're going to have to do. Just run your offense that way. He'll help him defensively. That. But I'm thinking Charlotte will probably go guard here. Probably get Ben McLemore. Thinking that's probably what they'll do. They'll probably get Ben McLemore, who's a great scorer. That's all he does is score. That's what Charlotte needs. So you pair him in the backcourt with Kemba Walker. That's a high-scoring backcourt. You might say they're in the vein of Brandon Jennings and Monte Ellis. 2 guys who can score the ball. Maybe not be true points, but can distribute the ball. You can see. And that'd be good for them. So you have those 2 guys who can score, and then you have a guy like Kid Gilchrist, who now has 2 better scorers around him. That he can be, and they can use actually him to be more of a facilitator. So I could see Ben McLemore going right now. Huh. Yeah, Charlotte takes Cody Zeller. So now, Nerlens Noel is even the first center drafted this year. I guess, like I was talking about earlier, if Charlotte goes to this up-tempo style, Cody Zeller is an up-tempo center. He can run down up and down the floor. So now, see him playing center, stepping in. I mean, he'll have to fight for a spot with Brandon Haywood. But he'll be more if they stay into that up tempo athletic style. Yep, he's a little small too, but not terribly small. But he's a C7 foot. That's what'll help him. But he's gonna be a guy. Yeah, it's just showing him run. Yeah, that if with this kind of lineup, Charlotte should become a more up-tempo team. They should be running, because that's the only way they're going to score. They're not scoring anywhere else. He's got active hands. That's good. Going for steals. Nice floater. So this be nice for Charlotte. Give him a scoring option, a younger, nice young player. Remember I said he's athletic. That's to be a big key. Be able to run and go, and that's what Charlotte's basically got to do. You got to outrun, outscore teams. So now they got a point, they got a 3, and they got a 5. I am surprised they didn't take the McLemore. They're going for scoring. Thought they would get the McLemore, but Cody, he'll do good. Now we wait for Phoenix Suns with pick number 5. A lot of teams saying that if Nerlens Noel fell, they might take him. And they select Alex Len, another center that's not named Nerlens Noel. This guy's got the prototypical center body. He's a big guy. Interesting to see what Phoenix decides to do, because they already have a good center in Gortat. Be interesting if they keep Alex Len on the bench and let him develop behind Gortat, or if they try to trade Gortat. I mean, he's good defensively. He has 7'1", 255. He's an NBA center. He's got NBA size. Yeah, just see what Phoenix does. With the roster now, they really haven't recovered after losing Nash. Yeah, they got Goran Dragic back, who's helped out a lot. But they still got Beasley, Channing Frye. They picked up Luis Scola when he was on Amnesty. They just got a weird jumble of different players. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Gortat. Here comes the New Orleans Pelicans with pick number 6. Let's see who they get. And Nerlens Noel finally drafted. And he goes to a team with Anthony Davis. Two guys who are close to being the same player. Because you already have Anthony Davis, who came in as an undersized center, who was allowed to play power forward because Robin Lopez emerged and played so well. But so now they get Nerlens Noel, also an undersized center. The only benefit now is if you play them together, Davis is big enough and long enough to play as center because of his giant wingspan, which will allow Nerlens Noel to play the 4. That being said, you'd have a great athletic lineup. They'd be great defensively. Offensively, they would struggle. Getting a healthy Eric Gordon would help out a lot. Greaves Vasquez has emerged as a very solid point guard. But you're just asking a lot out of your backcourt at this point. Defensively, though, yeah, that's probably you're not going to find a more athletic and dominating defense at 4 and 5 right now than New Orleans with Nerlens Noel and Anthony Davis. It is interesting. I can't see them trading one of those two. They might trade Nerlens Noel if they can get something better out of it, but there's no way they're going to trade Anthony Davis. There's no way that's going to happen. Now we're ready for pick number 7, the Sacramento Kings. They too have an interesting lineup. DeMarcus Cousins is a great center. A little bit of a head case, but his talent is great. He's big, bulky, he gets rebounds, he scores inside. And we'll see who they get to join him. Ben McLemore, finally off the board. They get a score, and that's a good 1-2 scoring punch. DeMarcus Cousins down low and Ben McLemore outside. Now I'm interesting because now you have him, you have Isaiah Thomas at the point. This will be interesting to see what they end up doing with Tyreke Evans. Ever since his rookie year, he's just been in a weird funk. Is he a point? Is he a 2? Would he now be a 3 with Ben McLemore coming in? Or do they finally cut ties with him, trade Tyreke Evans, and start building around Cousins and Ben McLemore? Interesting to see him go. I mean, he's a good scorer. Again, about 6'4", undersized for current NBA shooting guards, but it's still serviceable. He's just going to get a lot of buckets for them, and that's something Sacramento needs. They still need to work on figuring out their defense, but this offense will definitely help out their offense. They can play inside out, do a lot of screens with him and Cousins. That'd be a deadly 1-2. Who do you cover? Who do you double off of? And I'm finding out that no one else going to be traded. 76ers. Interesting. That's a big ass trade. Okay. So I just found out that New Orleans is not keeping Nerlens Noel. They are trading him to the Philadelphia 76ers in return for Drew Holiday. That's a big trade. Drew Holiday is a great young point. And I guess I'll get this time to talk about this. At this point in the league, I think point guard is the strongest and deepest position. You can look at every team's point guard, and their starter is pretty darn good. You can look at probably the top 15 players in the NBA. I'd say at least half of them are point guards. They are that strong right now. And for New Orleans to get Drew Holiday, that's a big step up. I mean, I was not a big fan of Greaves Vasquez. I think he's good. I think he's stepped up in big moments, but he's not a true point guard. Drew Holiday is. And if this trade is true and goes through, that's a big move for New Orleans to get Drew Holiday to pair up. Now for Philadelphia 76ers, they're getting Noel. He'll play center there, and just to replace Bynum, who himself is recovering from a knee injury. Interesting to see what they end up doing with him. If they choose to re-sign him or trade him. Well, can't re-trade him. Well, you can go sign and trade. On TV, they don't know about Jrue Holiday, but I'm finding it online on Twitter right now. Yeah, but going to Philly. Interesting. You got Evan Turner, good player, really stepped up after his freshman year. I mean, you've got some decent pieces. Spencer Haw. They could end up playing if they have Spencer Haw. He's got some decent outside skills. So you could play him and Nerlens Noel together. That way you can have Noel play more offensively in the post with Spencer Haw playing more offensively. So it'd be kind of like size-wise, Haw's a bigger player, so he would tend to be the center. But skills-wise, he's more of a power forward skill set, whereas Nerlens Noel has a more center skill set. So, love player movement. That's awesome. I'm really big in on Jrue Holiday. I think he's a really good player. And here's Pistons pick number 8. Tavius Caldwell Pope. Good guard. Going to Detroit to join Brandon Knight and Greg Monroe, who was a good center. I remember back during his draft, back in 2010, they were talking about how Golden State was going to pick a big man. I said they should have picked Greg Monroe. He was the best big man in the draft that year. They ended up getting Andrew Bogut's worked out for them. But now, so now Detroit gets a good shooting guard, something they do need. A good pair. Brandon Knight. Said Brevin Knight there. He's good off the skills. Got to be under new coach Mo Cheeks. Interesting to see how he does in Detroit. He's fast with the basketball. Moving around looks a little awkward, but he is fast with the basketball. So now that's good for Detroit. They got a backcourt now to go along with Greg Monroe. They're building some nice pieces. They've got a couple young guys who I really like. Jonas Jerebko and Austin Day. They don't have Austin Day anymore. They traded him to Memphis. They do have Jonas Jerebko. Had an injury last year, but he's a good, versatile forward. Okay, we are now about to see Minnesota's pick at number 9. See what they select. They have nice pieces. Talk of those in a little bit. Trey Burke. That is very interesting because he's a point guard. Minnesota has a lot of point guards. Let's name them. Starting point guard, Ricky Rubio. Backup point guard, JJ Barea. Third string point guard, Luke Ridnour. And 2/point Lexi Shved. Now you get Trey Burke. He's a good player. A little undersized. They compare him to Chris Paul. Got heart. He can score. That's something that he has over, I guess, all the other ones. He'd be that easily the highest scoring point guard of all of them. It's still weird though because they do have a lot of points. I believe Luke Ridnour is on an expiring deal, so they could probably look to trade him. Berea's still got 2 years left on his deal that he signed, and they're not getting rid of Rubio unless they can get something really good in return for him. There are reports that then they're talking about possibly trading Kevin Love. I don't see them doing that. They made a weird thing tying his contract where they gave him an opt-out. Kevin Love, coming out from injury, he is the best power forward in the NBA right now, period. He needs to stay more inside. That's what made him so great, because he was getting those 2020 games. But he's fallen in love with the 3-point shot. If he can learn to make that just a tool and not his everyday thing, that'll be really great. Another good piece of Minnesota, Nikolai Pekovic, who, with Love being injured, stepped up a lot and played some big minutes for them. They also got Minnesota's got a lot of pieces. They've got him. They've got Andrei Kirilenko, who came back from Europe. Still always a solid player. They have Derek Williams, who's been a little underwhelming. They could possibly trade him. They might package him and Trey Burke together, possibly looking for a 2. That's what they really need. They really need a 2. You can see them maybe trying to package that, talk to Sacramento. Maybe they can get Ben McLemore out of it. Still, he's a solid player. It'll be very interesting to see what Minnesota does with Trey Burke.